Man, I want to make sure I hit this. Man, thoughts and prayers to what's going on in the city of New Orleans. Man, I was there for 6 years, and man, to hear exactly what's going on, and I don't know all the ins and outs about it, but man, that's tough to see. It's tough to hear, and I just want to make sure I put that out there to everybody in that city, because I know what that city is about. It's a city with a lot of grinders, and they don't deserve that at all. So thoughts and prayers to the men and women, kids, everybody in New Orleans. This week's game, really good win by us as a team. Obviously, defensively in that first half, man, we did not play as well as we should play, and we understand that. But here's what I hang my hat on when it comes to us defensively, and I said this during the week on what I want to see, is the adjustments that we made coming out of halftime to where, man, our guys, we pressured Purdy as much as we can to try to get him to make some mistakes, because he's a damn good quarterback, and I said this last week that he's pretty surgical about what he do. But, man, we want to combat that in the second half by making sure we get in his face and make him have some issues, and I thought we did that. And I thought that our top players outwilled their top players. And to me, that's what the focus is on for us. Like how many impact plays we can make and how our top players going to outwill their top players. And we send Brian Branch on a blitz. He goes out there and he makes the play. We send Kirby Joseph on plays where he can get a chance to go and make some plays, and he does that. 3rd and 9, Amik Robinson makes a huge pass breakup. A play that we needed, and he did that. And that's what we're looking for, because last year, and I told you guys, we didn't have that. Those were the guys that was making those plays. But this is the year our guys are making them, and that's what we focus on. Listen, are we where we need to be defensively? Not at all. We understand that, right? But where we are is we're making impact plays. At times we need to make them, and I'm proud of our guys for doing that. So any questions?
Do you have to get to where you need to be, or can you win a Super Bowl doing what you're doing now?
Absolutely, you can. Right. The thing is, I go back and I look at the Ravens. No one thought they could win a Super Bowl when, I don't know, they was averaging what, 13, 14 points a game, what Trent did for the quarterback, but they found ways to win. Right? I know New England had some defenses that wasn't top of the charts, and they won Super Bowls. New Orleans won the Super Bowl in 2009. The thing they had is like 36 takeaways, right? But they won a top defense going that year. So you damn right we can do it. The thing that we have to continue to do is make these impact plays that we've been making. We're going to continue to do that.
What is the art for linebackers of playing play action?
Say it again?
What's the art of linebackers playing play action? You've got obviously a really great play action quarterback here that gives you plenty of good looks, but
yeah.
San Francisco's really good at it, had some success there, and then Minnesota may be one of the best in the league this year. So what's the key for your second level guys on those plays?
Well, it depends on if you're in man or zone coverage, right? If you're in man coverage, man, your eyes have to be focused on your man. And sometimes that's hard to do because you want to make so many plays, and if you have a man and you're in a C gap, all right, and you end up puncturing that C gap when that guy that's in that gap is your man, and he end up trying to block and then get out. That's a tough situation for some guys, all right? But the thing is, you just have to continue to trust your ability, right, to cover your guy and still be able to have your gap. That's one situation that's pretty tough. But our guys try to do as good a job as they can in that situation, because we expect you to be physical and get downhill. When you're in zone coverage, when you have a gap and you get downhill, man, now you have to get ready to punch out and be able to hit your landmark drop, which our guys work on every day. So you can sit back and allow teams to get 5-6 yards a carry, or you can stop those and end up punching back in zone coverages and try to do the best you can. I want our guys to be physical. I want our guys to attack the line of scrimmage, and that's what we're going to do.
Dan said yesterday it sounds possible that Alex could return for this game on Sunday. What have you missed, just on the field since he's been gone?
Alex is a unique guy, and the way I say that is because he's always upbeat. Nothing ever gets him down, no matter what the situation is. And him and Jack are two totally different people. Jack is a serious, always here. Alex can be here a little bit, and that's not a bad thing. Actually, it's a good thing because it keeps me centered. for the most part. So, but just him, his presence, his common presence, and the players are just so used to him being around, you know. So, and that's nothing against Jack or whatnot. They're just two totally different people and how they operate. But listen, I'm looking forward to getting him back out there. I can't say if he'll be out there this week. You know, he's getting himself back acclimated to how we do things and practicing. So hopefully we get him back really soon.
You got 3 years of experience with Jefferson in the division.
Yeah.
You know who he is and what he's capable of. Just what have you learned from those matchups through the years here?
I haven't learned anything. I already know it, you know. So man, he is a special one. Man, he's my type of guy. And you see the way that he's playing is starting to permeate through some of those other receivers. And the reason why I say that is I'm watching today, and I'm watching them against Jacksonville, and I see Addison go across the middle in the red zone. I mean, he takes a hit. And you see Jefferson goes over there and picks him up, like, let's get up, get back to the huddle. If you're hurting, let the huddle see it, not the defensive guys. I think he's one of the toughest guys playing that position. He's an old school player in my opinion. It's almost like he's a defensive guy playing receiver. But listen, we're going to do everything we can to stop him. I thought the first game we did a pretty good job of limiting what he can do. I know he made the one play on the Meek. And we're going to try to continue to do that. Listen, great players are going to end up making plays at some point in the game. And it's hard to hold those guys down, but we're going to do everything we can to do it. This is going to be a fun game, fellas. I'm just telling you that right now. And we are looking forward to it because there's no better way to end this season than playing against a team like that. So it's going to be a fun one.
Hawkinson was here. Where do you see his development from his time with Minnesota?
Well, they're targeting him quite a bit, which is pretty interesting that once he gets back that he's getting the ball as much as he's getting. But we know that he's a good player, so that doesn't surprise me. Savvy, smart, understands how to get open his own coverage. So we have to make sure we eliminate that as much as possible and don't allow him to find these zones, be able to sit down and be a target for the quarterback. So we have different packages that we're going to put on him to make sure we try to stymie him. And listen, we're going to do everything we can to get to this quarterback so he can get the ball out also. So there's a number of things that we plan on doing. But I'll tell you what, man, this is a good team. And obviously we know how their offense is. And I know B-Flow is going to do a good job with their defense. But I do know Ben's going to do a good job on the offensive side. So, again, from both parties, we're looking forward to this one.
What are your thoughts on Brian Branch being Pro Bowl? But more than that, what are his intangibles about wanting to improve?
That player is so hard on himself. It kind of reminds me of who I was as a player, of want to be perfect in everything, trying to perfect your craft of who you want to be, who you're trying to be. He asks the right questions. His practice habits are like no other, and that's pre-practice, during practice, and after practice of him trying to improve. In every part of his game, he wants to make sure he's top-notch. I'm not surprised that he's a Pro Bowler. That's not what he's looking at, all right? He's just looking at trying to be the best he can. If anything like that comes along, it comes along. He just wants to be the best player he can, and that's no different than Kirby Joseph. I mean, to me, Kirby Joseph is a Pro Bowler also. He might not have it by name, all right, but he is a Pro Bowler, in my opinion. I think he's a Pro Bowler in a lot of people's opinion across this league, too. And we know where that all comes from, all right? But he is one of the best, if not the best, safety in this league also. He doesn't need that as motivation. He knows he's a good player. What he needs to know, he has, 9 interceptions, a ton of tackles. He's made impact plays, as we saw last week, and that was done on national TV. So he doesn't need that as motivation.
What do you think he was passed on in voting this week?
I think we all know that, all right? But it is here. It is what it is. Thing is, he knows who he is.
Yeah, going back to Hawkinson, do you feel like teams have, targeted the tight end more, obviously, given the linebacker injuries, or that has it been neutralized a little bit by what Kirby has been able to provide for you guys?
Are you asking about the tight ends?
And how teams have kind of, incorporated them, used them more, given the injuries that you've had at linebacker, and then also, but.
Oh, you're talking about against us?
Yeah, against us.
Got you.
Yeah.
Listen, I think when you look at us, first off, let's go back. We had Carlton out there. Carlton is one of the top corners in this league, so I don't think a lot of people really targeted him. I think TA early on, he was getting targeted a lot. Then he started improving really, all right? So I don't think his targets actually up to where they were early in the season. Meek's always been a dog. He's always been a guy that's been really good in coverage. And I just think at some point they were like, okay, well, who am I going to go at? All right? And then they start going at the tight end. So, and I can just tell you totally, I mean, is it a matchup problem or whatnot? I do know that our guys do a good job in the coverage area, all right, when it comes to man coverage. We just got to continue to improve on some of the explosive plays and some of the mistakes as far as switching off on guys and making sure that we don't have anybody running wide open.
Sam Darnold, how do you explain, the renaissance of his career? How have you seen him change?
Listen, you see that, well, you've seen that with Baker Mayfield. You see it with him. Man, there are some of these quarterbacks or players in this league that people just give up on so fast. And sometimes the environment has a lot to do with that. And I think he's gotten to an environment to where he can woosah. I think it all started when he went to San Francisco, and then he ended up going to Minnesota. And listen, O'Connell's a really good coach. And when you get around that, and you get around players that believe in you also, I think everything that you've built yourself up to be really starts to come out. And I think that's what he's doing right now. He's always had the talent. I think he's always had the mentality to be a good player. And I think now you're starting to see it come out, just like you did with you see with Baker right now also.